a policy statement which formerly required that if you had access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, that you had to belong to the NAR. I have always hated this policy, and here's why.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Justin Harris.
My friends, big news, welcome news out of the National Association of Realtors. You heard it here first. It's a good thing you follow this program because I am not seeing this being touted anywhere else out there. I ran across it from one of my colleagues, one of my clients who asked about it. And honestly, I looked a little stupid. I said, well, I haven't heard about that. And they said, well, it was like yesterday or the day before. And this, of course, is being recorded before it is played. By the time this is played, maybe everybody will be talking about it. I don't know. But I am going to push to make sure that this episode gets out by the end of the year, because here's why. This may affect your next year association dues. And a lot of you, like me, I belong to one association, but multiple listing services. Yes, I meant to say multiple twice. I belong to multiple listing service. In fact, total of 6 right now. I pay separately for 6 different MLS accesses because I cover 4 states and because I travel a lot and my territory is big, and that's just the way it works here, right? I know I'm not unusual. Many of you have that situation. But most of us, we pay our dues at the end of the year. So our dues for 2026 are paid at the end of 2025. And so I hope that you are listening to this before you pay for your dues, because I think it will be a lot easier to not pay than to ask for a refund. Yes, I just said to not pay. Stick with me. First, I want to pause and remind you that we're sponsored by a couple of great companies. One of them, of course, being TrueTrax. TrueTrax is what I use to support my adjustments. Now, I told you earlier that I belong to 6 different MLSs. Only 2 of them, and they're the ones that I use the least, actually use TrueTrax, unfortunately, for now. I know that is changing. But if TrueTrax is in your area, folks, and it should be, because they cover like 95% of the country. I just happen to live in that little 5% that is not covered, unfortunately, for a lot of my area. But if they are in your area and you are covered, you need to be using TrueTrax, because it will make your job, incredibly easier. I cannot overemphasize how much faster and better my work is with TrueTrax. When I'm able to use it for the 2 MLSs that they are in, howla frickin' luya, it changes my process and makes things so much easier. And the cost is so much worth the investment. Check them out by going to their website. It's truefootage.tech/tools. Again, truefootage.tech/tools. And if you will use my coupon code, it's AppraiserCoach, one word, no space, capital A, capital C. Again, AppraiserCoach, one word, capital A, capital C. You will get 6, I didn't stutter, 6 weeks free. We are also sponsored today by OREP Insurance. OREP is my E&O of choice, and it should be yours as well. Why? Because, well, they benefit their members. They love their members. Not only do they support you when it comes to, well, what insurance does, right? The negative side of insurance, when they have to get involved in gross, grimy stuff, right? But they're there to support you when you're not in that kind of stuff. They help you by giving you all kinds of benefits, including discounts, including free CE, including free information from their sister company, Working RE Magazine. Folks, these folks get it when it comes to real estate appraisers, and you should get it, meaning E&O, from them. It's orep.org, ORP.org. Finally, we are sponsored by a program which can revolutionize. I know that's a very hyperbolic word, but it's meant revolutionize the way that you do business as a real estate appraiser. Because the program I'm about to tell you about is not just an order management system. True Home Tracker will allow you to be able to manage not just your orders, but your system of doing business. Does that make sense? Are you confused by that? I encourage you to go to our website and learn more, because it will not be confusing after you watch a few videos and see the automations that are built in to the program. It's True Home Tracker, and it's on the AppraiserCoach website. Go to the product section, scroll to the bottom, and find out more about True Home Tracker. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're talking about a big change. Yes, a big change that recently occurred as of November 17th, 2025. The National Association of Realtors made an announcement, a policy change, if you will. And basically, they have pushed back on each of the boards the decision to charge or not charge a membership in the NAR is now at a local level. What does that mean? My personal opinion is most local levels will not require it because of what may come about as a consequence, because you have to remember how this policy change came. Now, before I get into that, let me restate the announcement. The announcement is they are repealing a policy statement which formerly required that if you had access to the MLS, the multiple listing service, that you had to belong to the NAR. I have always hated this policy, and here's why. Forced requirement in any association is forced. And guess what, folks? I'm not for forced. I'm a freedom guy. I'm a libertarian. Leave me alone. Let me make my own decisions. Now, if I want to be a part of the NAR, I get to choose that, right? Now, this came about because, and by the way, it's not cheap. As you all know, we're talking hundreds of dollars every year that I get to be a part of the NAR, and frankly, it's rare that I agree with the NAR. I've been very outspoken on this microphone when I have agreed with the NAR, very outspoken and giving them praise and giving them kudos, but it doesn't happen very often. They're there to support realtors. They're the National Association of Realtors, not the National Association of Appraisers. By the way, there's one of those as well. You should check them out. And I just don't like force. I don't like my hands being tied when it comes to government or crony capitalism or any of that, right? And being forced to be a part of a union that I get very little benefit out of is just, it's not what I like. So I love this policy change. I don't like how it came about. Their hand was forced. But here's the thing, folks. It's no longer required. Now, you got to check with your individual board, but I'm assuming most boards are going to go with this, and here's why. Because the reason that the NAR stopped doing this, stopped forcing the hands of people that are not realtors to belong to the National Association of Realtors, is because of the Sitzer-Burnett case. And the Sitzer-Burnett case has changed everything. The antitrust is in full force here, and NAR is stepping back and saying, where else might we be exposed? Where else might we be in trouble? And forcing membership in our lobby is probably not going to go over really well in court. I don't think they did this out of the goodness of their heart. Sorry, NAR. I'd like to give you kudos and say, good job, you did the right thing. But when you do so, with a to your head, then I'm sorry, I'm just not impressed, right? It's like apologizing when you got caught. But I'll take it, and I'll run with it, and I'm going to call up every one of my MLS, all 6 of them, by the end of the year, and ask, hey, are you going to require me to pay my dues, or I'm going to wait for my bill? And if there's a bill there for the NAR, I'm going to raise holy hell on the phone. Why are you requiring? Do you know about this policy statement that came out on November 17th? By the way, you can look this up. It's called MLS Policy Risk Assessment PAG Recommendations Post 2025. Let me say that again. MLS Policy Risk Assessment PAG Recommendations Post NXT. By the way, I found this through Grok. through AI, just jumped on and said, hey, I heard this. Is this true? Yes, it is. Well, give me the source. By the way, she gave me some firewall first, she meaning Grok. And I said, hey, I'm not going to pay for that crap. Give me something for free. And then the iteration on that prompt gave me the right documents. You can find it as well. It's out there. Folks, don't sit back and take it anymore, right? NAR, you did the right thing. You did it for the wrong reasons, but you did the right thing. Thank you. I'll give you that. We appreciate it. Appraisers, don't pay your dues until you find out more. You're welcome. Go create some value.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit TheAppraiserCoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.